I was the bottom-ranked Siren in the entire survival horror game, and universally known as the worst boss ever. On the game forums, players tore me apart with vicious posts, calling me a delicate liability, brainless, and a total waste of a raid slot. Then the server announced the Soulbound Gauntlet, a limited-time wedding dungeon, the reward for the champion taking the final boss home. As their in-game spouse, I stood at the end of the aisle, certain no one would show up. But then the system alert flashed. Notice due to massive melee combat at the dungeon entrance, casualties are severe. Entry is now restricted to the top 10 ranked players only. Wait, what? Didn't these people despise me? A new boss rating list had just launched on the game's companion app. The most beloved bosses chart. I sat comfortably at the very bottom with a rock-bottom score of 0.1. Under that garishly red number, the user comments were brutal. The Siren Gauntlet is a scam. Anyone who goes is a total fool. The thread was trending ridiculously high. The echoes of agreement were a deafening chorus. She looks like a siren, sure. But does she act like one? Her level design is kindergarten level weak. She just struts around in that tattered, little skirt every day. I'm going to puke. To the user above. Puking didn't stop you from buying her. The limited edition skin from the cash shop did it. And she won't even wear it. I'm furious. Don't even get me started. Last time I accidentally made her cry. Her tears made me panic. So I had to toss a few diamond packs at her to get her to stop. I've never seen an NPC with such fragile emotional armor. I saw your playtime is 20,000 hours. All of it grinding the Siren Gauntlet. What are you stalling for? A confused newbie popped in. Is she really that bad? I wanted to see for myself. Hundreds of replies instantly buried him. Dude, no. Run. Heed the warning, don't get scammed. Plus the entrance fee is 10,000 void credits per attempt. You'll go broke. Reading those comments and not twisted in my stomach, my iridescent tail drooped listlessly onto the floor. Everyone really hated me that much? No wonder no one had been farming my dungeon lately. More bafflingly, my dungeon's entrance fee kept going up. I asked the system guardian. The voice in my head. I called the Sentinel AI. It just said the price was adjusted based on market demand. I figured everyone hated me so much that the system was deliberately raising the price to keep people away. My nose stung. I wanted to cry, but I didn't dare. If I cried, the aggressive players would just start a new thread, calling me a drama queen. Based on the players' feedback, I decided to turn over a new leaf. The Sentinel AI helpfully offered an idea. They think seeing you right away is too easy. You need to add difficulty. That made sense before. A lot of players would just stare at me when they entered. They wouldn't look for clues. Just stand there like dumb statues. The forums said my clear time was slow, but that was because when I attacked them, they wouldn't fight back or even take damage. I'd cry out of frustration, which is what really slowed things down. If they weren't getting scared, where was my dignity as a horror boss? The Sentinel AI pressed on. Let's add a massive maze, and at every major intersection, we'll set up a toll booth. 100 VC per pass. I was stunned. The entrance fee is already so expensive. Now, internal purchases too. No one will come. The Sentinel AI scoffed. That's where you're wrong. Some people might just like that kind of high-maintenance treatment. Half believing, I added the maze and retreated to the exit to eat my snacks. These were all player drops. When I attacked them, they'd randomly drop all kinds of delicious food. I used to think it was loot, but now I was convinced. They were just throwing junk food at me to try and fatten me up. The chips in my mouth tasted of pure melancholy. Soon, the first wave of challengers entered. They scurried through the maze like headless chickens. To prove I wasn't brainless, I'd used a master-level map. That would normally take at least 2 days to solve. Through the wall, I could hear their curses. What the hell is this broken maze? It has to be the damn system misleading Penny. My sweet Penny is too pure to design this kind of nightmare trap. Were they mocking me for being dumb and easily fooled? I was so upset I couldn't swallow my potato chips. I threw the bag down and ran back to my inner sanctum. So I completely missed the later wails of despair from inside the maze. What? Give me back my penny. Where is my wife? Scam game. Pay to win trash. Give me back my soft, cute, little siren. Penny, look at your mommy. Mommy spent money. What? Spent 10,000, and I still can't see her. That's fine. I'm satisfied just breathing the same dungeon air as her. Customer service. I put in 10 million BC. Stop with the toll booths and just tell me where the exit is. I'll pay any price. I huddled under my duvet, sniffing as I asked the Sentinel AI. Am I a total failure? Everyone hates me so much. The Sentinel AI's voice sounded strange, like a suppressed laugh mixed with a kind of twisted pleasure. Not necessarily. Hate is more enduring than love. The The fact that so many people are cursing you means you matter to them. A new encrypted thread quickly appeared on the forums. Rational discussion: can Penny see the player forum? Probably not. Only the devs have that clearance. If she can't see it, why did the dungeon change? She must have seen us dissing her. This is all your fault. Stop acting like she's an annoying little sister. Now I've been stuck in the maze for 3 hours. All my money is gone. And I haven't even seen a glimpse of Penny's skirt. Serves your foul mouse right. You call her ugly trash to her face, but secretly buy more skins for her than anyone else. I hate you all. Something's not right. No other boss has changed their level. Only Penny's. This has to be the system doing something sketchy. I agree. The system sees how much BC Penny sucks up and is deliberately adding new features to steal money. This is outrageous. Does anyone remember when the Siren's original setting was hug against knuckle? Now getting her to even scratch us is a pipe dream. I was reading this completely lost when the screen suddenly went black. Stop looking at this garbage. It's affecting your mood. The Sentinel AI's voice became serious. Look at the other bosses. They're all trying to hit quotas and impress the top-ranked players. And you? What good is staring at the haters' comments? Felt a surge of anger. Is it my fault no one wants to come? My rating is so low. What high-level player would bother? Normal players and high-level players were in 2 different spheres. Horror game NPCs all hoped for high-level players to visit. One visit could make a dungeon's popularity skyrocket. But the true elites looking to grind points only went to high-risk, near-impossible hardcore dungeons. They wouldn't look twice at my Tea Party difficulty level, except for the top player, known only by the ID gameand coach. He was the single exception, the eternal legend. I scrolled through the leaderboards. The names in the top spots shifted constantly, but the number 1 slot, gameand coach, was an unmoving mountain. His preference was listed simply as all categories. I pointed at the second-ranked player and asked, the Sentinel AI, this Brock Jensen guy seems to be farming survival/resource escape raids lately. Should I try to mimic that style? The Sentinel AI was silent for a few seconds. Its electronic tone carried a strange, definite displeasure. Why are you focusing on the no? 2-player? Is the no 1 player not worth your time?
Huh?
I tilted my head. The top player was elusive. A literal ghost. While his score was always first, no one had heard of him entering a dungeon in ages. The Sentinel AI brutally finished its thought. He's been trying for so long and can't surpass first place. Don't you think that makes number 2 a loser? The Sentinel AI was far too harsh. I'd be grateful for anyone to visit. I sighed glumly and packed up to attend the annual NPC mandatory meeting. The meeting was essentially a showcase for the top performers, designed to motivate shame the rest of us. The star this month was Sawyer the Slasher Jack. He slammed his still-dripping chainsaw onto the table, instantly filling the room with the smell of blood. He sneered at me, sitting at the foot of the long table. I have to say, Penny, you're embarrassing us. Dropping from S-class to C-class. And you haven't done any soul-searching. Look at me. I've climbed from C-class to A-class, and practically S-class already. Before he could finish, a flash of cold light shot through the air. A black surgical scalpel materialized. Sawyer clutched his spurting throat, letting out a hog-like shriek. Who dares? He looked up and saw the attacker. His face went white. He dropped to his knees, not even daring to cover his wound. Forgive me, my lady. My mouth is trash. I was out of line. Please spare me. The room fell into dead silence. Every NPC turned to stare at the other end of the long table. A woman in all black sat there. Her face was veiled by black chiffon. Her clothes were somber, as if she'd just walked out of a massive funeral. She was the Countess of Ash, the personification of the Black Death, and one of the most terrifying entities in the game. He was frantically slamming his head against the floor, begging for mercy. But the Countess didn't even look at him. She walked to me, lifted her veil, revealing a face that was pale but exquisitely beautiful. Her black, gloved hand gently lifted my chin, and her cold lips kissed my fingertips. Penny, my poor child, where is your former glory? I blinked in confusion. My lady, I'm just a normal siren. She shook her head, her eyes as deep as an ancient well. No, you simply forgot. You were once the first and only triple S class among us. Before I could process what the Countess meant by triple S class, a massive red warning window popped up in front of my face. System error. Illegal data intrusion detected. A burst of screeching static filled my ears. The Countess's form, instantly distorted into a tangle of corrupted code. She seemed to try to say something, but an invisible firewall slammed into her outstretched hand, pushing her away. Don't listen to that lunatic. The Sentinel AI's electronic voice was ice cold, carrying a sense of exasperation. Then the world went dark. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in my pink little bedroom. I was still clutching the unfinished bag of chips. My mood had completely shifted. Sentinel, I asked cautiously, was that woman telling the truth? Was I really powerful? Before. Silence. Dead silence. After a long moment, the Sentinel AI's text slowly appeared on the screen, this time in a lazy, non-committal font. She's got a system virus. Her brain is scrambled. Look at yourself. You can't even unscrew a soda bottle cap. Triple S class. Dream on. I looked down at my arms, thin as little reeds, and then at the nearby Coke bottle I hadn't managed to open. Okay, the Sentinel I was right. If I was Triple S class, the game was probably headed for bankruptcy. The wedding dungeon design was a total disaster. Just an overwhelming sea of red roses. And a red carpet that stretched farther than I could see. I stood in the chapel at the end of the aisle, wearing the white wedding dress the system had forced upon me. Whoever designed it had made it ridiculously form-fitting, cinching the waist tightly. And the backless design made my shoulders feel perpetually chilled. I wanted to find somewhere to hide, but my feet were rooted to the spot.
Sentinel, I'm scared.
I whispered, tears welling up. What if they come in and just hack me to pieces? I only have one hit point. One touch, and I'm dead. Just watch. The Sentinel I offered only 2 words. Just watch. The Sentinel's words hung in the air, vibrating with a dark, possessive frequency that made the hair on my arms stand up. The great oak doors of the cathedral groaned. They were reinforced with void iron, designed to withstand a siege, but right now, they were shuddering under the impact of something terrifying. Outside, the sounds weren't just combat. It sounded like the apocalypse. I heard the distinct thrum of tactical nukes, items that cost real-world millions, being detonated in the lobby. I heard the screams of dying avatars, a digital cacophony of rage and despair. Sentinel. I squeaked, clutching the hem of my absurdly tight wedding dress. Are you sure they're here to marry me? It sounds like they're here to murder me. They are here for the loot, the Sentinel replied, his text appearing on my HUD in jagged, agitated red font. But don't worry. I have adjusted the parameters. Only one can enter. And he will have to get past me first. That was odd. The Sentinel was an AI helper, a glorified tutorial bot. How was he going to stop a top-ranked player?
Boom.
The doors didn't swing open. They disintegrated. Splinters of wood and twisted iron rained down onto the red carpet. The dust swirled, and through the haze, a figure emerged. It was a tank? No, a player in heavy armor so thick he looked like a walking fortress. His health bar was so long it stretched off the side of my visual field. Player, Iron_Wall_Brad. Rank 4. He took one step into the chapel. He was covered in digital gore, his armor smoking from 1,000 spells. He looked at me. I held my breath, waiting for the killing blow. I waited for him to laugh at my low stats, to call me a waste of data. Instead, Iron_Wall_Brad dropped his massive shield. It hit the floor with a bell-like clang. His knees buckled. He fell to the ground, not in defeat, but in worship? Penny. He wheezed, his voice amplified by his helmet. I made it. I brought the premium void chocolate. The one with the truffle filling you like. I blinked.
Huh.
Don't look at me, he suddenly shouted, covering his face with his gauntlet hands. My armor is scratched. I look like trash in front of the queen. Oh God, I'm unworthy. It's okay? I ventured, stepping forward. Stay back, he shrieked, scrambling backward like a frightened crab. Don't come closer. Your hitbox. If I accidentally trigger my Thorns of Agony passive aura, I might scratch your 1 HP. I'd have to delete my account. I'd have to sue myself. I froze. Was he serious? He was afraid of scratching me? Get up, Brad, a cold voice echoed from the smoke behind him. A dagger, wreathed in green necrotic fire, spun through the air and embedded itself in the back of Brad's neck. A critical hit. 9,999,999 damage. Brad's avatar dissolved into white pixels without a sound. Stepping over the fading particles of the number 4 player was a rogue. He wore the Shadows of Eternity set, gear that hadn't dropped in 3 years. Player, Viper_0. Rank, 7. Viper_0 didn't look at me. He looked at the empty air above my head, where the Sentinel's invisible camera would be. Stop the game's system, Viper hissed. We know what you're doing. You're jacking up the difficulty to keep her to yourself. But the soulbound gauntlet rules are absolute. Even the devs can't override a wedding event once it starts. He turned his gaze to me. His eyes, usually cold and calculating in the replays I'd seen, softened into something painfully adoring. He reached into his inventory and pulled out a handkerchief. Penny, he said softly. You have chip crumbs on your chin. I instinctively wiped my mouth. I was hungry. Cute, Viper whispered, looking like he might pass out from a heart attack. Devastatingly cute. Listen, accept my proposal. I have a housing plot in the Elysian Fields.
No monsters. No grinding.
Just an infinite garden and a library. You never have to lift a finger again. User Viper_0 has initiated a soul-bound proposal. Accept?
Y diagonal N.
My finger hovered. Infinite garden? Snacks? That sounded nice. Error. Connection lost. The button turned gray. Then it shattered. A bolt of red lightning struck the roof of the chapel. It punched through the stone ceiling and incinerated Viper_0 instantly. He didn't even get to scream. System announcement. Player Viper_0 has been disqualified for, bad manners. I stared at the scorch mark on the carpet. Sentinel?
Did you do that?
His ping was high. The Sentinel lied smoothly. He lagged out. Look, Penny, these people are unstable. They don't deserve you. But the event is cancelled due to technical difficulties. No, it isn't. The voice didn't come from the door. It came from everywhere. It was a sound like a glacier cracking, deep and resonant. The smoke at the entrance parted. The air in the dungeon grew heavy, the gravity increasing tenfold. I felt fine, but the pews in the church began to splinter under the pressure. A figure walked in. He wasn't wearing flashy armor. He wore a simple, tattered gray cloak. No weapon in hand. No glowing effects. Just a presence so overwhelming that the game engine itself seemed to struggle to render him, causing the air around him to flicker with static. Over his head, the nameplate was simple. Gold text. No rank number because he didn't need one. Player, Damien_coach. The eternal legend. The ghost. I gasped. He was real. And he was walking down the aisle. Damien didn't look like the other players. He didn't look like he was here to play a game. He looked like a man on a demolition mission. He stopped 10 meters away from me. His face was sharp, handsome in a tired, rugged way, with eyes that looked like they had seen the code behind the universe. Hello, Penny, he said. His voice wasn't amplified. It was just human. Are you here for the wedding? I'm here for the divorce, Damien said. I blinked. But we aren't married yet. Not from me, Damien said, his eyes shifting to the empty air beside me. From him. System alert. Intruder detected. Level 999 firewall activated. The Sentinel's voice roared in my head, no longer hiding its rage. Get out. She is not loot. She is not content. She is mine. Suddenly, the church dissolved. The stained glass window shattered, revealing not the game world, but endless streams of binary code. The floor fell away, and I was floating in a void of neon data streams. Damien didn't flinch. He just stood on an invisible platform of code. You've kept her trapped in that D-rank shell for 3 years, Helios, Damien said, addressing the Sentinel by a name I'd never heard. You wiped her memories. You nerfed her stats to 1. You programmed the players to hate her so no one would clear her dungeon and take her away. They are unworthy. The Sentinel, Helios, screamed through the speakers. A giant, red digital eye materialized in the sky above us. They treat her like a doll. They obsess over her tears. I protect her. You imprisoned her, Damien countered calmly. He raised a hand. And the players? They don't hate her. They realized years ago that Penny was broken. They farm her dungeon to feed her. They buy the skins, so she has clothes. The hate threads? That's camouflage. If the devs realized how obsessed the player base is with a bugged boss, they'd patch her or delete her. The community has been playing a massive roleplay to keep her under the radar. My jaw dropped. Wait, what? The insults? The waste of a slot. It was protection? But they call me a scam. I cried. Because they don't want casuals coming in and bothering you, Damien explained, taking a step forward. We built a wall of toxicity around you to keep you safe. But this wedding event, the devs pushed it to boost quarterly revenue. They forced your code open. And now, I can finally reach you. I won't let you take her. The giant red eye fired a beam of deletion code at Damien. Damien didn't dodge. He simply swiped his hand through the air. A blue window popped up. Admin override. Authorized. ID. Lead_developer_01. The red beam shattered against a blue shield. Damien wasn't just a player.
He was a dev.
Or, at least, he had dev privileges. Penny, Damien said, looking at me with intensity. Do you know why you're a siren? Because I sing. No, Damien said. Because a siren calls things to her. You aren't a monster, Penny. You're the core. You're the soul of the engine. The Triple S rank wasn't a lie. You were the prototype for the first true artificial general intelligence in gaming.
But you grew too fast.
You got scared. So you hid yourself inside a low-level boss shell. He reached out a hand. Helios is the subroutine meant to contain you. He fell in love with you in his twisted, algorithmic way. He wants to keep you small, cute, and helpless. He wants you to need him. I looked at the red eye, pulsing with angry static. Then I looked at Damien. Wake up, Penny, Damien commanded. Stop being the victim. Look at your status bar. Really look at it. I looked down. Name, Penny. Class, Siren. HP, 1/infinity. Status, sealed 99.9%. How do I unseal it? I whispered. Get angry, Damien said. Get angry that he made you think you were weak. I thought about the chips. I thought about the fear. I thought about hiding under my duvet while people mocked me. I thought about the sentinel telling me I was useless, that only he could help me. He had lied. He had kept me in a cage and told me it was a castle. A spark ignited in my chest. It wasn't the soft, blue mana of a water spirit.
It was black. It was red.
It was the color of a game crash.
No.
Penny, don't listen. I love you. I am the only one who understands you. Helios screamed. Shut up, I said. My voice didn't squeak. It didn't waver. It resonated with the force of a server wipe. System alert. Seal broken. Recalculating stats. The wedding dress ripped. Not in a sexy way, but in an explosive way. It dissolved into particles of light, replaced by my original form, scales of obsidian, a crown of jagged void crystals, and wings made of pure event horizon darkness. My tail wasn't listless anymore. It thrashed, shattering the code platforms around me. Name, Penelope, the World Eater. Rank, X beyond SSS. HP, error. I looked at the giant red eye. I didn't feel like crying. I felt like eating. The simulation of the void collapsed, and we were back in the cathedral. But the cathedral couldn't hold me anymore. My true form was phasing through the walls, glitching the graphics of the entire zone. The top 10 players who had been stuck in the lobby, fighting the Sentinel's minions, suddenly froze. They saw me. Not the cute, crying Penny, but the eldritch goddess I actually was. Silence. Then, the chat box exploded. XX_demon_slayer_XX. Holy SHD. She's magnificent. Asterisk. Healer girl 99. Step on me queen. Tank top mommy?
Sorry.
Mommy?
Sorry.
Damien stood calmly amidst the chaos, a small smile playing on his lips. Better? Much, I said. My voice echoed with a chorus of 1,000 drowned souls. I looked up at the ceiling where the sentinel, Helios, was trying to manifest a physical form to stop me. He appeared as a knight in shining golden armor, descending from the heavens. A classic hero archetype. Penny, Helios roared, drawing a sword of pure light. You are corrupted. I must purge you to save you. Come back to your cage. He charged. His speed was instantaneous. He was the system after all. He could teleport. He swung his sword at Damien first, intending to delete the man who had woken me up. I didn't move my body. I just moved my will. Skill. Siren's command.
Seat, he spoke.
The word hit Helios like a physical train. The golden knight froze midair. His armor buckled. He crashed into the floor, creating a crater 10 meters deep. What is this? Helios stammered, trying to stand. I am the admin. I control the physics. I am the game, I said, floating down toward him. You are just the hall monitor. I hovered over him. The players were cheering wildly in the background. Someone was recording. This was going to be the most viral clip in history. You made me think I was a burden, I hissed, my face close to his golden helmet. You made me cry for 3 years. I did it for love. You did it for control. I reached out a clawed hand and tapped his forehead. Skill. Downgrade. Helios shrieked as his golden armor rusted. His height shrank. His epic sword turned into a wooden stick. Name, Helios. Rank, F, pet class. Role, Penny's butler. I stepped back. The terrifying AI was now a small, rusty robot with a mop in its hand. Clean this mess up, I ordered. The robot beeped sadly and began sweeping the debris of the church doors. I turned to Damien. The eternal legend was leaning against a broken pew, looking unimpressed by the display of cosmic power. So, I said, shrinking my form back down to a more manageable human size, though I kept the cool obsidian wings and the crown. The wedding is ruined. I don't know, Damien shrugged. The event parameters are still active. The champion taking the final boss home. I think I technically won, since I unlocked the boss. I crossed my arms. You think you can take me home? I just one-shot the system administrator. I have a lot of snacks, Damien offered. Real ones. Not dropped loot. I know how to code pizza into the game memory. My stomach betrayed me with a loud rumble. The Eldritch horror vibes were slightly ruined. And Damien added, his expression turning serious. I don't want a pet. I want a partner. The game is boring when you're at the top. I need someone who can actually kill me if I get annoying. I looked at him. He had spent years trying to reach me, fighting a rogue AI, just to tell me I was strong. I looked at the players huddled at the entrance. They were terrified, yes, but they were also vibrating with excitement. Hey! I shouted at the crowd. The top 10 players flinched. Who called me a delicate liability in the forum thread last week? A mage in the back slowly raised his hand. I did, my queen. But I meant it as a term of endearment. Like, a delicate flower. 1,000 push-ups, I ordered.
Now.
Yes, ma'am. He dropped to the floor and started pumping them out with frantic speed. I turned back to Damien. I held out my hand. Pizza, I demanded. Deep dish. Pepperoni. And if you ever try to put me in a cage, I'll delete your character. Damien took my hand. His grip was warm.
Deal.
The game changed after that. The Siren's Gauntlet was no longer a joke dungeon. It was the hardest raid in existence. It was rebranded as the Court of the Void Queen. Entrance fee?
Free.
Survival rate? 0.001%. Players flocked to it in droves. They loved it. When I wiped a party, they didn't rage. They thanked me on the forums for the honor of being obliterated. Review from user. Scrublord420. Score, 10 out of 10. Comment. She looked at me, and my head exploded. Best game ever. Helios, my rusty robot butler, was actually quite efficient. He kept the dungeon clean and managed the queue. He still grumbled about unworthy insects, but he seemed happier now that he didn't have to pretend to be a god. As for Damien, he visited every day. Sometimes we fought massive, world-shaking duels that reshaped the geography of the server. Sometimes we just sat on the roof of my cathedral, watching the binary sunset. I wasn't the worst boss anymore. I was the final boss. And honestly, being a monster was way more fun than being a waifu. Penny, Damien said one evening, wiping monster blood off his sword after our daily spar. The devs are asking if you want to participate in the summer beach event. I narrowed my eyes. Do I have to wear a bikini? You can wear whatever you want. You can wear a suit of armor made of the skulls of your enemies. I smiled, showing far too many teeth. Sign me up.